This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Yeah, JR, you're talking about that smoking skull belt that I know all the wrestling belt collectors are familiar with there, that Stone Cold belt.
It was a cool belt, Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was a gimmick belt. Even though I'm not a championship belt aficionado, I know what they're supposed to represent and what they're supposed to symbolize.
Yeah.
That'd be like saying, let's put the last Super Bowl trophy, let's put Tom Brady's bust at the top of it. No, it's the Lombardi trophy. It's not going to be tampered with. It's the Stanley Cup. How many versions of Stanley Cup? I don't even know how they keep writing their damn names on there.
It's unbelievable.
So anyway,
all right.
That's right. That's where I am on that deal.
Fernando Diaz is up next, and we're going to navigate this question together, try to figure it out. If JR could have used any two WCW talents that weren't here at the time and would replace Jericho and Angle, how much business would it draw at a WrestleMania?
Well, it depends on how you set it up. It depends on how you started the angle. It depends on how you maintenance the angle. It's just not, you name names, it's okay. It's a matter of execution. So, I don't know. You'd always make money adding Goldberg to a scenario.
Sure.
He'd be somebody you would certainly consider. But at that time, he didn't want to come to work. And neither did Hall and Nash, and neither did Hogan.
Sting.
But you could always say, if you want to just cover your ass, you get good old Fernando here and answer. You say Sting and Goldberg.
There you go. I like it. There you go, Fernando. Next,
yeah.
Kurt Zamora is up, and he says, is Undertaker's versatility against different types of opponents a little bit underrated? Matches like this hardcore match with RVD and ladder matches against Jeff Hardy show he could really go into any situation and any opponent.
Brilliant performer. He went from becoming, he should have been simply, and he got that way at the end, I thought, an attraction guy. He was an Andre. You see him, the less you see him, the better, the more marketable and more valuable he is. But Taker's multi-talented. He's got a great head for the business. And somebody like him could evaluate a Jeff Hardy or look at this hardcore match with RVD and come up with a plan that he thought was going to work to accomplish what the booker, i.e. Vince, wanted at the end of the night, as far as going over or whatever the case may be. So, no, he's very underrated now. It's good. It's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
He's, because everything else he's so strong at, his presence, so awesome. He's, you could easily overlook that. And I think Kurt makes a good point.
Mike is up next, and he says, since we hear over and over that Vince is in the star-making business, and given recent releases of some big names and characters, why do you think he strapped the rocket to Chris Jericho?
Really, Mike? Mike, you okay?
Mike.
Are you shitting me? He's a talented guy. He was young. He was durable. He's still doing this shit. I don't even, that's a silly question. I'm glad you listen, and I'm glad that you sent a question in, but Jericho got the rocket ship strapped to him because everybody involved in the process felt like he was the man for that job at that particular time. To have a cocky, undersized heel be the top dog, the big rooster in the barnyard is a no-brainer. And we needed heels, and we needed wrestling heels, and we needed heels that could brawl. And nobody can convince me that Jericho doesn't have amazing skills in both those areas. Promos, creative, always changing his game up, adding things. We see it today. We're talking 20 years ago, and he's a lot younger. So to me, it was a no-brainer. And it sounds, and I am very loyal to Chris, and I still am. But I'm loyal to all the guys I signed. They all know I get phone calls. I get guys needing things, and I never say no. Now that don't mean for all you guys I signed, you could call me and say, JR, I need to borrow $1,000. That's not what this means, by the way. But in reality, and to be serious, if they were in that situation, they know I'd come through.
That's right. You'd at least give them 500. All right. Francis Ryasak is up next. Our last question of the week. He said, would you have the 2 tournament matches at the beginning instead of near the end of the pay-per-view?
Well, that's a good question. Programming wise, it would have worked. But I like the way the show ended, quite frankly. I don't know what else we would have closed with that would have that the audience would have bought in for, especially with all the hype of what Vengeance meant, what it was going to be. So I kind of think I'd keep the plan as it was. But if they started off first and then had the final match at the end of the night, would that work? Probably would have. They just want to keep the package together. They wanted people to say things like you said earlier. Jericho just worked X number of minutes here and an X number of minutes here, gets to arguably the 2 greatest pro wrestlers active in the world that day. So, but it's an interesting question. But I can see amending it, but I kind of like the way that it ended because it built drama. How long can Jericho last? Whatever the case may be. So I was cool with it. Hey, folks, it's time to take your podcast game to the next level. And you certainly want to get your almighty push. My God, we have to have a push, right? We'll get that over to AdFreeShows.com. Now, I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Grilling JR, AdFreeShows.com has the entire episode library, and it's got no ads. 0 ads, zilch, none. Ad-free and on video starting at just $9. Did you hear what I said? $9. You spend more than that at Starbucks, for God's sakes. 2 mornings. If that's not all, folks, we got tons of bonus content, including my after-hours roundtable, where drinking was involved with Eric and Tony. You simply will not find a better value in all of wrestling. Hey, look, don't make me go red ass, because by God, you know I will. Hurry over to AdFreeShows.com right now and sign up. And I thank you.
Well, listen, thank you to all those of you that participated in sending questions, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We appreciate all of them. And listen, JR, I don't know if you knew this or not, but in 2022, you got to be a member of AdFreeShows.com if you want to submit questions to all the podcasts on the Conrad Thompson Network. So if you're not already, check out AdFreeShows.com and make sure that you are submitting questions to shows like Grilling JR and getting your answers to your questions beginning with next year's topics. Jim, next week, the discussion is all about Stone Cold Steve Austin's 1995 and 96. It's the debut of the Ringmaster, how he got to the WWF, the slow start, and then Austin 316. And by God, we're off to the races.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're looking forward to talking about your longtime friend, Stone Cold.
A lot of stories there. A lot of stories. A lot of challenging times. Steve's not always the guy that was easily kept happy because he was such a perfectionist. And he knew exactly what he envisioned that character of Stone Cold was going to be, how it was going to evolve. Where were we headed here? And, but that, he didn't trust a lot of people. DTA's real. Don't trust anybody. That's not a t-shirt. It may be, but it's that's how he believes a lot of times. He's been burned here, there, and yon, and he's just not going to, he's just not going to be taken advantage of in his mind. And sometimes he was his own worst enemy. We'll talk about that. Stone Cold's the most complex athlete that I ever worked with. And that covers a lot of Hall of Fame guys, millionaire guys, and big star guys, and all those things. He was, so there's a lot of stories to go along with that. So we'll get that working out, and it'll be good. It'll be a fun show to to talk about because I enjoy talking about him, and I don't know that anybody on earth knows more about him than me.
JR, that's going to be one not to miss. It'll be the December 23rd episode, 2 days away from Christmas. Talk about an early Christmas gift. Nothing better than a little JR talking Stone Cold Steve Austin. So make sure you stick around for that. JR, talk about jrsbbq.com. We only have a few more days until the big Christmas holiday.
Yeah, you got to potty or get off the pot, as they say in Oklahoma. And according to the delivery times and all that stuff. But as I said at the very beginning of the show, we're working every day. Even me in my less than athletic state, shall we say, is because I don't like getting up walking around. My foot starts throbbing, and it's just a tough time right now. But I'm signing books, and we got great stocking stuffers. We got boxes, gift boxes that have all these different items in it at different price points. And so it's all at jrsbbq.com. And we're going to do all we can. Our customer service is phenomenal. And so, we can't, even all the while, we can't guarantee a shipping delivery because we're not the post office, we're not FedEx or wherever it may be. But we can get it ready to go on time. And so we're going to do our end. But yeah, I wish you'd check it out. Even a bottle of seasoning in a stocking is a pretty cool little stocking stuffer for a wrestling fan. One of those Moscow Mule glasses, they're all engraved. Pretty cool gift. And we just got so many different things and different packages and different price points that I hope that you'll give us a shot. And it always makes me feel good, especially when we send out packages and then the recipient of those packages send us pictures of what they got on Twitter or whatever. It's just cool seeing my ugly mug on somebody's table at the holidays. And it's always grilling season. If you don't believe me, just ask Connie. Where the hell is Conrad? I just noticed he wasn't here today. No, I'm kidding.
Where are those cheeks?
Oh, those big cheeks. So he's just getting ready for that Alabama Cincinnati game.
Oh, there you go.
He loves that. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for my Sooners. We got a new head coach who was a great friend, and I love Brent Venables, good guy. He'll do real well there. He really will. And then they got an OC from Mississippi, and he played football at OU and got a medical red shirt. Got hurt. He's an offensive lineman, but he's evolved into one of the best offensive coordinators in the country. He's so good an offensive coordinator that he was called to plays in Mississippi and not Lane Kiffin. So that's pretty cool. So things are good. See, now I focus on those things, Paul, and that keeps my mind off all this other bullshit.
That's good, man. That's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do. So I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about getting back at work with a renewed vigor and vim and full of piss and vinegar, as they say, and going back and having some fun. There are a few times that I look at something and with reluctance that I didn't get to call it. And it's not because Excalibur and Tony Schiavone can't get the job done. They can. It's obvious. They did a great job. But I really am remiss that I didn't get to call my man Hangman Page defending against Daniel Bryan.
Let my family save your family some cash. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket, but we will save you money. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of how much. SaveWithConrad.com.
Yeah.
Or Brian Danielson. Any name you want to say, you'll know who he is when you listen to those kicks.
That's right.
You can hear the kicks. So I that's the first time in a long time I've just thought about it, because Tony Khan laid that match out there early so people could plan to watch it. And I've been thinking about it ever since I heard the announcement. So I'm missing out on that one, but we'll make up for it. We'll make up for it, because I got a feeling that no matter what happens on Dynamite this week, it won't be the last time those two hombres square off in the town square.
Could be just getting started, man.
That's right. You never know.
Well, listen, JR, this has been, as always, a pleasure to work with you and talk with you. I really enjoy doing this with you, man. I can't say it enough. AdFreeShows.com. Check us out. Early ad-free bonus material. JR and I hope to do a bonus show together before the end of the year. We'll talk about that a little bit after we hang up here together. But, man, check us out. AdFreeShows.com. JR, this has been a lot of fun, and I appreciate your time today.
Oh, I appreciate you, Paul, stepping in for Connie. Conrad's got his mortgage business is, and rightfully so, because they have a great company and do a great service. I've got buddies of mine that have bought homes through Conrad's company. And, I think my buddy Raphael Morphy,
yes,
who works with us at AEW, one of my best buddies. He's been a big help in my convalescence, I can tell you that. And he didn't have to. He spent time here when he could have been home with his son and his wife, and it is the holidays. But he spent some time down here to help me get around. And but little did we know that I thought this thing, like I said earlier, the psychology I had was that, well, it's going to get better through this process. Well, it's not going to get better through the process. It's going to get better when we stop the process. And they can't stop the process until they do what they believe is enough treatments to kill this cancer.
That's right.
So, I'm a big fan of old Raphael, and he's done a great job. A lot of guys have. But I don't know where we were in our conversation. But
that's okay. You were just talking about how busy Conrad is at the mortgage company.
Oh, yeah, and he's doing great, and I'm so proud of him,
Yeah.
He's doing good. And he's invited me to come down for New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make that because I got a vision. I might see Dave Silva in a male diaper shitting himself. Or he could be wearing a big old king-size Depends with one of Conrad's belts around his waist.
Oh my God. That would need a belt extender. Yeah. For Dave. I'm not going to make it either. Was invited, but we can't make it. It's that time of year for us too. But man, listen, JR, 2022, I want to hang out with you. We got to get together.
But that's what Conrad does.
Yeah.
He invites all his buddies.
Here we go.
And the whole goddamn in the method of being a good humanitarian,
right,
and a nice Christian thing to do, love thy neighbor. And he knows that everybody can't come.
That's right. He knows what he's doing.
He knows exactly. He's protecting himself. He looks like a champion, and he's got a beautiful home. And I would love to go. I'm sure the food and the booze would be great. But
probably first class, but it's just like the roughest time of the year with the most expensive airline tickets and everything else.
And connecting in Atlanta. You want to go through Atlanta during the holidays? I don't. My fat ass is going to sit right in there on that couch and watch all the football I can consume.
That's right.
So in any event,
good times.
I enjoyed working with you, Paul. We had fun today, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I'm not as full of P&V because I got up really early this morning and did my treatment. I'll go right back tomorrow morning and right back on Friday morning. But we're getting there, so we're turning the curve, and I really do appreciate everybody's support. I can't tell you how much it means to go on Twitter or some of those Facebook or whatever and see people's thoughts and how they share their feelings. And I think that's true. I got something the other day that, because I've been so open and maybe too much for some people's taste, I don't know, on my condition and how it's progressing and where we are, just information that this guy says, he sends me a tweet. It's got his little boy in it. His little boy's been diagnosed with cancer. He said that because you've been so open about explaining your situation and how you're approaching it, it's been an uplifting message for my son.
Wow.
So, you don't think about things like that.
That's right.
And that's I think the kid's like 10 or 12. But in any event, I appreciate those goodwill wishes. They're cool. And can't do enough nice things for people. I'll tell you, us that sometimes need a little boost, really appreciate it.
Well, JR, we love you, man. We're all in your corner. We're cheering for you, and we're all in the stands as you're in the fight of your life right now. And right now it is, and we're all in the stands. You're our hero. You're the face. You're the baby face, and we're cheering hard for you big time. To put it,
what a baby face. I gotta think of some T-shirt designs. You know, I thought of something because it's going to happen. You know, JR whip cancer's ass.
There you go.
That might be a nice shirt.
Yep.
But
I just kick cancer's ass, or
yeah,
we'll come up with something. Maybe people will tweet some ideas.
yeah. Oh, they always do. They're brilliant. They have ideas.
I love it.
Some of the booking ideas are a little stupid, but nonetheless, not kidding. Why did Chris Jericho get the rocket ship tied to him?
I love it. I knew you were going to say it. Yeah.
God almighty. Come on.
Come on now.
You're looking for something, bro. It's not Dallas Page. By the way, congratulations to DDP for getting married recently. And that's kind of neat. The world's greatest overachiever in pro wrestling. And I mean that in a very good way, actually. So congratulations to DDP, and I can ramble on all night. It's the medication, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I need to move to my living room now.
And eat your dinner and watch AEW.
Yeah.
JR, her name's Paige. So is it Paige? Is that what the name is now?
I don't know.
Okay.
But
that's true.
Yeah. And his name is Paige Falkenberg.
Right. So, yeah. So there you go. There's 2 Paige Falkenbergs.
Yeah. This show's going to hell real quick.
It has.
Let's get out of here.
Gone down. Let's cut it.
Yeah.
We're done. Listen, thank you all for joining us. This has been an absolute blast. Hopefully you enjoyed the last little bit of JR and I's dialogue. This is what it's like before we hit record. So this is a little peek behind the curtain. We thank all of you for listening, and please come back next week for some stone cold Steve Austin with the voice of wrestling, Jim Ross. We'll see you next time on Grilling JR.
And eat more barbecue, for God's sakes.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.